Hi to everybody, my name is Елена Чжан. I'm the teacher of Foreign Languages Department, and today we are going to have a lecture in the theory of grammar. The theme of our today's lecture is diagramming in grammar. Today we are going to speak about different types of diagrams used in grammar for grammatical analysis. You'll get acquainted with three most important types of diagrams. In other words, graphic systems for representing sentence structure. You'll develop the following skills after this lecture. First of all, you will be able to differentiate between systems of visual mapping to supplement verbal description in three main grammatical systems: traditional, structural, and transformational. You will be able to recognize the three most important graphic systems for representing sentence structure. You will be able to understand the hierarchical structure of sentences and their parts. And you will be able to draw phrase structure trees, IC analysis, and read Kellogg diagrams. You know that using language to learn about language provides little assistance for visual learners, people for whom a picture or a diagram clarifies abstract concepts better than a verbal explanation does. Each of the three grammatical systems, traditional, structural, and transformational, has developed one or more systems of visual mapping to supplement verbal description. And today we are going to speak about these types of diagrams. The first one is read Kellogg diagram. Read Kellogg diagrams are visual maps commonly used in traditional schoolroom grammar to display the structure of sentences. During the 19th century, a number of styles of diagramming evolved, but system still used in many schools today is that developed by Alonzo Reed and Brainerd Kellogg. Because no competing systems have survived, read Kellogg diagramming is usually referred to simply as diagramming. In figure 1.1, we can see a read Kellogg diagram for the sentence, "Those tall trees framed our lovely view nicely." In read Kellogg diagrams, the main horizontal line represents the core of the sentence. A vertical line intersects the horizontal between the main words of the subject and the main words of the predicate. The subject here is "those tall trees," and the predicate is "framed our lovely view nicely." A vertical line following the verb framed separates it on the horizontal line from the main verb of its direct object, view. Diagonal lines point toward words they modify. Notice that the noun modifiers "those" and "tall" are on diagonals below trees. The adverb "nicely" is on a diagonal below the noun "view." We will use read Kellogg diagrams throughout the course of the theory of grammar, where we think they can help us to clarify a grammatic concept visually. The second type of diagram is IC analysis, or immediate constituent analysis. This is a system of analyzing the hierarchical structure of sentences and their parts. This is a tool developed by Leonard Bloomfield and other American structural linguists. They employed several graphic devices to represent the result of IC analysis. The version in figure 1.2 uses arrows to show what words and phrases modify. "Those," for example, modifies "tall trees," and "tall" modifies "trees." The vertical line between "trees" and "framed" divides the subject from the predicate, and the vertical line between "framed" and "our lovely view" divides the verb from its object. Working upward from the bottom, you can see how phrases contained within the sentence form its parts. The first vertical divides the entire subject, "those tall trees," from the entire predicate, "framed our lovely view nicely." Each of these, in turn, is divided into parts that constitute it. parts considered to be its constituents. The subject, for instance, has two major constituents, those and tall trees. Tall trees has two, tall and trees. The predicate is analyzed first into two components, framed, our lovely view, and nicely. Then framed is separated from its direct object, our lovely view. The direct object has two components, our and lovely view. And lovely view has two, lovely and view. An advantage of IC analysis is that it can show how there is a hierarchy in modifiers, with one modifying another that modifies yet another. For example, in figure 1.2 makes clear that tall forms a unit with trees, that is in turn modified by those. And the third type of diagram is phrase structure trees. The phrase structure tree diagrams, also called phrase markers, used in transformational generative grammar, created by Zelig Harris and Noam Chomsky. This type of diagrams show some relationships more clearly than is possible through Reed-Kellogg diagramming or immediate constituent analysis boxes. Later we will discuss how we can use tree diagrams with grammatical labels to analyze syntactic structure. The lines in figure 1.3 are considered the branches of an upside-down tree. The sentence branches into two parts, a subject and a predicate. These branches then subdivide into other constituents of the sentence, and finally into its individual words. Phrase structure trees can show the same hierarchy of relationships IC analysis can. Thus, the tree branching divides those from the phrase it modifies, tall trees. Similarly, it shows that trees is a unit modified by tall. Tree diagrams have an additional advantage in that they can efficiently represent visually how one sentence is placed inside another. They are also easier to read than are boxes used in IC analysis. Consequently, these three types of diagrams, I mean Reed-Kellogg diagrams, IC constituent analysis, and phrase marker trees, are important analytical tool in grammatical analysis.